Hey, what's up? This is Brian from the Gothsicles and Space Couch, but a winner is you, because you're watching Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, right here.
Hey everybody, Chris, the old-ass retro gamer here. Video Game Collection 2023 live stream, PlayStation Part 3 of 5. Yeah, I have a lot of PlayStation games to talk about. I have an entire shelving unit right here that is just nothing but the PlayStation. So this is going to be a long series. It's already gone on for 2 episodes. This is number 3. Hope you're ready. We're going to talk about some games. What's up, Mondane and Tiger Shot? How's it going? Welcome. So, why do I do these streams? I bring this up every single time I do one of these. 4 reasons. It's fun. Channel content. I get to talk to everybody. Like J-Chip, how's it going? And it's good to have the visual record of everything in your collection, especially one as large as mine, just in case something bad happens. So let's just jump right into this. So, yeah, like I said, this is part 3. So this is an entire shelf of my bookshelf here right next to me that's got all my PlayStation stuff on it. 2 more to go. That's why there's going to be 5 freaking episodes in this series. Oh, shit. Little sippy sip first. Okay, so we're going to start off with a bang, everybody. I mean, this is a game that every single one of you watching this now or later should have in your collection. No questions asked. Believe me. Trust me. You need it. Must have it. If you don't already have it, what is wrong with you? E.T. the Extraterrestrial Interplanetary Mission. Yup. Picked this up at the Midwest Gaming Classic in 2022. Had no intention of ever buying this, but I found it at a table extremely cheap. And I was like, ooh, licensed game. Must have it. And picked it up. And yeah. Apparently this was released in conjunction with the 20th anniversary of Alien, E.T. I wish it was Aliens. Yeah, there's even like a thing on the back that says, see the movie, et20.com. I guess it was playing in theaters again at the time. But it is like an isometric adventure game, I guess, where you play as E.T. It looks amazing. Not really. So this probably came out in, 2003, 2002? That would have been about the 20th anniversary. So this is a late in the game PS1 game. 5 detailed environments, 15 levels filled with never before seen alien enemies. Journey to the Green Planet, Ice Planet, Desert Planet, Planet, Metropolis, and Earth. UZT's powers of telekinesis, heart stun, healing powers, and telepathy with 3 levels of difficulty. Wow. It's going to be amazing. Maybe I should stream it. Anyway, I'm a little loopy, everybody, if you haven't noticed already, because I am so freaking tired. Beyond tired. That's why I'm drinking the Mountain Dew. Hopefully it does the trick this time. Next up we have, this is the good one. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, J-Chip, so and I can imagine it's probably better because this has an instruction book that makes sense. At least I hope it does. So I'm instantly saying it's probably better. Yeah, this one is awesome. This is one of the games that I absolutely refused to sell when I lost my job in 2011 and I had to sell everything in my collection. I refused to do it because I liked it so much. And plus, even at the time when I had lost my job, this game was quite expensive to find. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get rid of that so I can pay 15 times what I paid when it first came out later on if I ever decide to get back into collecting. So I decided to hang on to it. And that is Einhander. You bet your ass. I absolutely love this game. It's an awesome shmup. This is when Squaresoft was like branching out into all these different genres that they normally didn't do since they were doing nothing but RPGs at the time. And then they did like Parasite Eve and Brave Fencer Musashi and Bushido Blade and Einhander. And it's a pretty fantastic shmup. It has an awesome soundtrack. I actually ordered the soundtrack off of some... I don't remember where it was. I had a call in order to place the order because it was like an ad in a video game magazine that I bought. And it was like, order Japanese soundtracks here. And they had the one for Einhander because the game came out in Japan first. And I heard the music before I played the game because I had heard so many good things about the soundtrack and they were right. But it's a really cool horizontally scrolling shmup. And you have like all these different configurations of your ship with like weapons. You can like cycle them out. You find a new one and it kind of like turns into an attachment on the bottom of your ship or the top of your ship. It's pretty cool the way it works, and everything is graphically pretty amazing, and it plays extremely well for like the first shmup that Squaresoft released. Yes, sir. I like it a lot. The landfill calls for your copy of ET. I would love to see an Einhander 2 released for like the modern day consoles. That would be fantastic. Now we have another Psygnosis joint. I keep talking about it. I was at one point trying to get every single Psygnosis game that was ever released for a home console. And I wouldn't say I'm like super close, but I'm pretty close because I have quite a bit. There's a bunch of expensive ones out there that I don't know if I'm willing to buy, but I did find all the cheap ones and I managed to pick all of them up. And one of them was Eliminator. This is Psygnosis' version of Twisted Metal. As far as I remember, in the future, prisoners are sentenced for life. There is no other verdict. Prisoners of war, however, aren't so lucky. Choice of 4 weapon, loaded craft, vast playing arena with 8 different levels, 8 bonus stages, over 30 different types of enemies to battle. Yeah, it's Twisted Metal, but it's like more of an arena thing against computer opponents than playing multiplayer. But yeah, I found this dirt cheap. I think I can never remember the name of that store that closed by my work. It was like CD Recyclery or something like that. I remember finding this there. And I was super thrilled because I think I paid like $3 for this. So it's just another awesome, possibly Psygnosis game to add to the collection. Never played Einhander, but maybe someday I can find it at somebody's attic and they can take $2 for it. Might get lucky and find it at a garage sale. You never know. Pick this one up. I know I picked this one up at, what's it called? Half Price Books. It's called Eternal Eyes. And I think this is an RPG. I've never played it. It's an RPG. Of course I haven't played it. It looks like an RPG. So, yeah. I got it dirt cheap, so I picked it up because got to have all the games. So, I think it is. Yeah. This is an incredible new RPG to enthrall and delight. I seriously doubt that. The artwork on the front is very cheap, and it looks like the background with the red, it looks like something from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, that's a really bad photoshopping. Sorry. This one I picked up because it was there. I went to the exchange near me, and it still kind of has one of their label on it because their labels are impossible to get off. And it was like, I think $6 or $7, and I picked it up because licenses, and I wanted to try it out. And I looked it up afterwards, and I heard how awful this was, and I was like, well, Fantastic Four. This is not based on any movie or anything like that. This is based on the comic book. And it's like a 3D beat 'em up, if I remember what I read correctly. I still have not popped it in to play it. But I hear nothing but bad things, probably because it's from Acclaim. So I can't really comment. Hey, what's up, Seaspring Heartrun? Eternal Eyes is great. Well, I'll take your word for it. I've never played it. Not sure what combat games like Twisted Metal games slowed down. Seems like a good genre to bring back. I love those like vehicular combat games. I wish we were just getting nothing but Twisted Metal games all the time. But yeah, I hear this is awful, but licensed games got to have it. Although the thing that makes me laugh about this is the big 4 up here, the CGI 4, is basically the logo from the Roger Corman version of the Fantastic Four movie that never got released, but still managed to find its way into YouTube. Very hit or miss, yeah. This is like before all the movies and stuff. Back when that came out, I think Batman and Robin was probably the big one. Ooh. These I love. I absolutely love these. I was working at Kmart, I think, when the second one came out, when I went back before I got the job at GE. We're talking Fear Effect. This is like playing a Resident Evil game. It's got the tank controls, but it's more like a cyberpunk action-adventure style game. And it's pretty amazing. It's got like cel-shaded graphics, and everything looks a little angular, but it's like that stylistically for a reason, and I absolutely love it. I picked this one up day one back in the day. Never actually beat it, but I absolutely loved it. The atmosphere is great. The characters are awesome. Like the set pieces are pretty rad. I absolutely loved it, and I couldn't get enough of it, but just never put the time in to complete it. And then I was working at the Kmart, for like 3 months or whatever it was when I was still waiting for a job to call me. And that's when Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix came out. Never thought that we would ever get a sequel to that game because I don't remember it selling extremely well, but apparently it sold well enough that we got a sequel. And it's more of the same, but you have different characters to play as this time. You have... Oh, God, what were the characters' names? It's been forever since I played this. Hannah. Was it Hannah that was the main character? I think so. Hannah. You get to play like as her girlfriend. There's like a lot of weird sexual stuff going on in this game, too. I remember that much. And this one, I did play, even though I had not beaten the first one, but I was just kind of like, I want to see what it's all about. And there's like a bunch of like really weird sex things going on in it at times. And I was just kind of like, oh, this game is progressive. I think I like it. Ghost in the Shell, yeah, a little bit. Bat suit nipples. I talked about the Fear Effect games in that video I did a few years back about franchises that need to make a comeback. I would love to see like a Fear Effect 3, like a real Fear Effect 3. And I think they were working on it at some point, but it just got canceled. And then there was like some mobile Fear Effect game that came out, which was like playing some isometric like strategy game, kind of like XCOM or something like that. I saw a video of it and it was like crowdfunded and it looked like garbage. So I never bothered with it. But like an official sequel, like an actual Fear Effect 3, I would absolutely love. So last week I talked about a licensed game that I thought was like one of the worst licensed games on the console, and it was it I don't think it was Batman and Robin. Or something else. I don't remember. But this is one of the... It might have been Batman and Robin. This one is the one that like it hurt me. Like I love the movie this is based on so much. And I was like super excited when I found out that there was a video game version of it coming out. I was like, this is amazing. I need to have it. I need to own it. I need to play through that in one day. Like, I want more of this world that this movie took place in. That was so great. And then, like, you start playing the game. Like, I went and bought it. I think it was discounted already. It was like not a budget game, but it wasn't like the PlayStation 1 games were about $50 brand new. I think this was like 40. And I should have known that was like something, weird going on. But brought it home, played it for maybe like 15 minutes, half an hour, and I was just like, why? And that's The Fifth Element. I absolutely love this movie. I love it to death. I hated it when I first saw it in the theater. The trailer made me think it was going to be like this super serious, like hard sci-fi movie or science fiction movie, not a sci-fi movie. And visually, I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be like the next Dune or something like that, serious. And then I see it and it's like a comedy. And I was not prepared for that. And I did not like it. The friend that I saw it with, my friend Gary and I, we walked out of the theater going like, what the fuck did we just watch? But I already promised another group of friends I would go see it with them the following day. And I went regardless of me not liking the movie. And I actually got it the next time I saw it. When I saw it that second time, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. All right, I'm here for it. And I ended up really loving it. I ended up seeing it 6 times in the theater or something like that. I even went all the way, I used to live in the burbs. I went downtown Chicago to Navy Pier and saw it on the IMAX at one point because they released it, I think, that winter on the IMAX for one night only. And I was like, I need to see it on the biggest screen. I absolutely love it. The game, on the other hand, is absolute trash. It controls like shit. It looks like shit. It just, everything about it is garbage. The music is probably the best thing about it because most of it is copied from the movie. You get to play as Lilu in some stages and Corbin Dallas, Bruce Willis at other stages. Corbin's stuff is mostly weapons based. He has guns. He can find all these. Once he finds this one electricity gun that basically seeks out enemies, the game is a cakewalk from that point on because you don't have to do anything. You just have to walk past people and this gun will just electrocute everybody you walk past. When it comes to Lilu, she's mostly doing the fisticuffs. She's punching and kicking and doing acrobatic-y things. The problem is there's doors you need to look for in certain levels and everything looks the same. There's nothing differentiating the door from the rest of the room and it's hard to see what you need to do in most levels. And there's times where I was running around in one stage for 45 minutes. The first time I played, I was running around for 45 minutes trying to figure out what the hell to do in one area. And it turns out there was a door, but it was just camouflaged because it looked like the rest of the walls. So I do not recommend this one at all. I absolutely hate it. It is the trash. So disappointing. Just lost your appetite. This one I played for a little while just to see how to make it work, and it's complicated. Most of these games in the series are complicated, but I don't care. I think they're really cool. One day, I might just say, you know what? I'm going to put the time in and I'm going to make one of these things. And that's a Fighter Maker. Age Tech released a whole series of maker games. There's Fighter Makers and RPG Makers. I have a lot of them. This one is you can do it's all 3D fighting game type stuff. It's you can make Tekken style games. You can create the moves. You don't really get to, if I remember right, you don't get to really customize the looks of the characters. You get to change colors of things and there's hairstyles to choose from and glasses for characters and whatever, but you don't really get to make them from scratch. But you get to create the moves and stuff like that. You can kind of see you making the angle of the kick and stuff like that with this ticker that they have. It's kind of cool. It's also a little bit basic. I think that they wanted to make something a little more complicated, but they figured that people wouldn't be able to figure it out. So they waited until the second one of this for that to happen. But it's just cool that there's a series of these types of things out there. You have to watch that movie, but I do remember Brother's friend bringing that game over and asking if we could play it, and he said no, it was crap. Watch the movie. The movie's fantastic and funny. Legit funny. I think this started off as a sequel to Streets of Rage, I think. Fighting Force. I remember reading somewhere that this initially was being developed as a sequel to Streets of Rage, and then Sega pulled the plug on it or something like that, but Core decided to keep going with it and just made their own franchise of Fighting Force, which is not great. I remember I was really excited for this. I love me a good beat 'em up in 3D, with PlayStation, everything that was, being made for this console. Your growing pains. People are trying to figure out how to do 3D right and make it fun. This one, they weren't quite there yet, but it is just a simple 3D beat 'em up. You got 4 different characters you can choose from. I don't know if you can alternate between them. Choose from 2 male or 2 female characters, each with different skills and strength. Play alone or in co-op. I don't remember if you get to pick them or if they're assigned to you for certain levels or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played it, but it's very clunky. The controls are kind of shitty. I don't like it very much. The sequels, I think, even worse. But yeah, there's that. And then we get into these right here. You guys are going to be real mad at me. Real bad. So we have the Final Fantasy VII. I've only played through disc 1. I played a demo of this that came with some magazine that a friend of mine had, and like it's the first chunk of the game where you're like by the train, or you pull up in the train station, and you're doing all that Shinra stuff or whatever. And the first time I saw that summon, where you summon that big water dragon thing, I was like, this looks like the greatest thing ever. Like, I must have this game. And I played through that demo at least 3 times. I thought it was so cool. And then I bought the game like the day it came out. I ran out and picked it up. This is still my original copy, the one that I had back in 1996 or whatever it was, or 7 when it came out. This is my OG copy, and it's still in great shape. I showed you how much I played it. I played through a little bit of it at the start when I first picked it up, and I got like bored with it for some reason. Like I couldn't get into it. But I kept trying over the years, and then finally when I said, you know what, I'm going to play through that frickin' Final Fantasy VII, and I played through the end of the first disc, and then my PlayStation crapped out on me. And I did not get one for, I think, another 6 months. Like, I remember my mother was like, don't worry, I'll get you one for Christmas or whatever. And I was like, okay, fine. So I had to wait. So I couldn't play it, and by then I had lost interest again, and I never went back to it. But what I did play, I thought was kind of cool when I did actually put the time in instead of just like kind of half-assing it. But, yep, never played through it, never beaten this game before, ever. So everyone's got the love for it. I don't share it because I've never played through it, so sorry. I am going to play Final Fantasy VII Remake this year. That's the second game I'm going to play for my Year of the RPG. And then we have Final Fantasy VIII. I bought this one just because I was like, ooh, Final Fantasy is the best thing ever, you know, and then I never actually played much of it. I played this one, I want to say, for maybe a day and put it back down and just never went back to it. For some reason, I would do this with RPGs even back in the day. I'd play it a little bit, and I'd be like, I'll come back, and then just don't. And then I start hearing all the people complaining about how this one is garbage. And I can't say if it is or not because I've never actually played through it, but I love that opening cinematic with that Liberi Fatale music playing over that cinematic. I think the idea of the Gunblade stuff is really rad. I always wanted to play through this, which is why I bought the PlayStation 4 remastered version, so I can at least get some trophies while I'm doing it. But I never thought it was terrible what I played, but apparently everybody hates it. Musty Hobbit, on the other hand, from the Cartridge Club, it's his favorite game in the series, and like he was streaming it when he was streaming before he like abandoned everybody. He was streaming it, and like there was a point where he started crying on stream because one thing just hit him right in the feels from when he first played it. I was like, oh, okay. It's a character development story. I see, as long as they don't keep repeating themselves, I'm fine with that. If Final Fantasy VII is like the world story, and then that is just a character study, at least they're not just trying to do the same thing over and over again, just with different characters thrown in there. So I give them credit. And at least they're not repeating themselves when it comes to the way stuff works. Like Tiger Shot said, the junction system, it's different from the way the magic works in Part 7 and all that. So, I mean, I'm glad they're not just doing the same thing over and over again. You know, they're trying out new things, like with Final Fantasy IX. They decided to go back to like the super deformed looking characters from the OG games that came out for like the NES and the Super Nintendo. And I was here for it, even though I hadn't played through the other two. None of these games are connected in any way. They're all their own little story. So when I saw that they were going back to that art style, I was like, oh, shit. No more of the sci-fi stuff that 7 and 8 were. This one's going strictly fantasy. And yeah, it's like that. And then I stopped playing it again. I did get further in this one than I did Final Fantasy VII. Still haven't beat it, though. And then Musty Hobbit was streaming this for a little while. I think he was streaming this when he decided to just give up on everything video game related. And I was kind of disappointed because I liked watching him stream this. He was really fun to watch streaming this kind of thing, especially since he had never played this one before. Excuse me, and it was his first time. So absolutely need to play through that. Excuse me. And then we have the Final Fantasy Anthology, which has remastered versions of Final Fantasy 5 and 6. 5 we never officially got over here. 6 we did as Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo. I still have not played Final Fantasy 3/6. So you got some new CG cutscenes thrown in there, and I think the music is now CD quality. I don't think it's the same music from the cartridge versions, if I remember correctly. Contains a bonus music CD featuring favorite scores from both games. I can barely read it. It looks bright in this room. It is not bright. These lights are making it look brighter than it is. I can barely see what's written on this damn thing. But yeah, I ran out and picked this one up. This is still my original. All of these Final Fantasy games are the original ones that I bought when they were first released. I never got rid of any of these. But yeah, if I'm going to play through Final Fantasy 3, it's probably going to be this version of it. Or Final Fantasy 6. This is my first time. And then last week, I was sitting there going, I need to play Chrono Trigger. I need to play Chrono Trigger. I'm not going to pay the money that everyone's asking for Chrono Trigger. And then Mondane's like, do you have that Final Fantasy compilation thing? And I was like, oh, yeah. And here it is, Final Fantasy Chronicles. It's got Final Fantasy 4, which is my favorite Final Fantasy, and Chrono Trigger, which I've never played in my life. Whew! Okay, so Final Fantasy 4, I think I talked about it in the NES and the Super Nintendo streams, but my buddy Gary, who was always inviting me over to his house to watch him play through every single video game that he ever gets or ever got back in the day, like, hey, I got Ninja Gaiden, I already beat it. You want to see, the ending? You want to come over and watch me play it from beginning to end? Sure, why not? I got nothing better to do. He wanted me to do that with Final Fantasy 1. Like, he started playing it at his house one time, and I'm like, I am not going to sit here and watch you play this for 60 freaking hours. There is no way. I'm going home. And I kind of lost interest in the franchise after that. I didn't have any interest in playing the original game. And then he got Final Fantasy 2 because he got a Super Nintendo before I did, and I was watching him play Final Fantasy 2, and I was like, holy shit. Like, this is like a movie. Like, I need this. And like, I don't give a shit about what the first one was. I'm going out. I need the Super Nintendo like right now, and I did exactly that. Went and got a job so I can get it, and it blew my mind. So this is Final Fantasy 4/2 with like some new cutscenes that I think are CGI and some CD quality music. I absolutely must play through this version now. I might play through this year to see what it's like. And then you got Chrono Trigger on there. So Chrono Trigger is getting played this year, most definitely. Almost unplayable? Shit. And then we also have Final Fantasy Origins, still my original copy from back in the day. And this has remastered versions of Final Fantasy 1 and 2. And we never got 2 over here in the States. 2 is not the 2 we got. So same exact thing. New remasters of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 with some CD or some cinematic cutscenes and stuff like that and some CD quality music. So there is that. And the only one we hadn't, at that point, the only one we hadn't gotten over here was Part 3. And that didn't come out here until the Nintendo DS. That's the only way you could play that. But then we've got that Final Fantasy Tactics action. This is not my original copy because I never actually owned this back in the day. The one that I got was one of my friends. It was when I got into collecting. It was like when I can't talk. When early on in my recollecting back in like 2013, 2014, one of my friends, I don't think it was Felix the Bread. It was someone like that on Facebook that I was buying a lot of stuff from. I was like, hey, you're always buying stuff from me. I'm going to give you something. And he gave me like the greatest hits version of this for free. And I was like, cool, I've never actually played this. My friends back in the day loved this game. One of my friends actually made made a homebrew board game and of this. And we tried it out at my RPG night. We were playing, I think, Pathfinder at that point. And they brought the stuff they had created for this Final Fantasy Tactics board game, and we sat there and we played it all night. It was actually pretty cool the way it worked. All because they absolutely loved this game, but I had never played it back in the day. So I got that greatest hits version, and then Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming is like, yo, fuck that. I'll send you the real one. He had a double of this, so he just sent it to me because he's a good guy. And it's a tactics Final Fantasy game, strategy, RPG. And I have played it nowadays, and I actually thought it was really cool. I need to put more time in it and actually play through it. Maybe I'll do that this year also. Maybe I'll just play nothing but Final Fantasy games. Something like that. Mm-hmm. Here is some Psygnosis joints. We got Formula 1 Championship Edition. It is a F1 racing game. I'm not big on F1 type racing games. I think they're boring. But it's a Psygnosis joint, so I had to get it. Yay. This one was dirt cheap. I know I paid $5 for that on Amazon, Facebook, eBay. And then that was popular apparently. And I don't know, maybe Psygnosis had a thing with Midway for a while, because there's a bunch of Psygnosis games I own that were actually released by Midway. We have Formula 1 2000, which is the follow-up. The graphics are slightly better, but it's still just another F1 racing game. So big whoop. And then I was talking about this every time I was discussing the Descent games that I have for the PlayStation 1. So there was like this rip-off, how there's always rip-offs of the vehicular combat games like Twisted Metal. You had Critical Depth, you had Rogue Trip, Star Wars Demolition. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Oh, F you, Adobe Flash. Leave me alone. And the ripoff of that was Forsaken. I originally had this for the Nintendo 64 because I, back in the day, thought it would just run better on a cartridge, no load times, that kind of thing, but it just made like the frame rate drop like you would not believe, and I hated it. And then I got the Nintendo 64 version in a lot of games for the Nintendo 64 when I got back into collecting. And eventually I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't want that for the Nintendo 64. I remember how badly that ran on that console, so I'll just try to find a copy of the PlayStation 1 version. And sure enough, like a day or two later, I went to Half Price Books and I saw this sitting there. So I picked it up. And it's a 3D combat style game, but you can do it up, down, 3D, all over the place. You're basically floating in space, and you're traveling through all these underground tunnels and all that, trying to just destroy all the other bad guys that are there with you. So, yeah. Descent 1.5, I guess. And pick this one up. I got this for dirt cheap, too. Front Mission 3, another Squaresoft. I think this is another tactical RPG, but this is all about mech combat, which is right up my alley. I love that kind of stuff. Have never played it, though. There's so many Front Mission games, and there's even one that's a spinoff that's like a run and gun for the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom. It never came out over here. I think Jason played it for his Backlog Roulette on one of our Super Enabler Brothers podcasts. So, yeah, definitely need to play through this at some point because it looks rad as hell. Must play. And I found this at Half Price Books randomly. It was in their expensive case, but it wasn't all that expensive. It was like $30 or $40 or something like that, if I remember right. G. Darius. These are horizontally scrolling shmups, but the only thing you ever fight in the Darius games is RoboFish. Robotic fishies. I don't understand. The Japanese are weird. I don't get it, but they've made so many games in this franchise. How many robot fish are there actually out there, people? I want to know. I don't know if this is a port of something. The Definitive Shooter, whatever. I guess it's another sequel. It has 5 different endings. Battle 28 huge bosses. Conquer 15 enormous levels. Whatevs. I have so many games in that franchise, but I still don't understand why the robot fish. I want to know. Please, somebody tell me. Yeah, my original PlayStation died on me when I was playing Final Fantasy VII. And then like 6 months later, I think it happened over the summer. Yeah, that happened that one summer. And my mom was like, oh, don't worry, I'll get you a new one. And she did. And she got me one for Christmas that year. So I had to wait like 6 months to play my PlayStation again. So at that point, I was stuck with my N64. Yay. Notice the enthusiasm. Another Psygnosis joint, but this is another fantastic franchise that they created. It's called G Police. These are like, you're playing like as a aerial combat unit in the future. It's very cyberpunky also. You're like in this helicopter that doesn't have blades. It's basically just like an airship and taking out bad guys. And it is super fun and cool. I loved this one when it first came out. It is 2 discs. I thought this one was always 1 disc, but it had a big manual, but it does not. This is still my original copy also. Still have the Psygnosis, what is it, player card thing you can send away for a membership to like the Psygnosis fan club or some shit. Where is it located? Where was it? Foster City, California. Yep, absolutely loved this one. and was super thrilled when G Police Weapons of Justice came out, the sequel. It's more of the same. This one has the Dual Shock. You can see on there, they're really making a big deal about it being playable with a Dual Shock controller because it was new at this point in time. More of the same, but just better graphics, better play control, a couple more vehicles you can play as. It's fantastic. It's just as fun as the first one. They're both great games. I absolutely love that series. That's another one that I wish we would get like a modern day version of. I don't see why we haven't, but doesn't Sony own? I think Sony owns Psygnosis now, and they're not doing a damn thing with them. Here's another Resident Evil style game, and it is Galarians. This actually got like an anime or something like that, and then a sequel. Like there's a video game or a movie of this, and I think it's available on the PSP or something. It's only available on the PSP or something like that. It's weird, but you play as this little kid that's been experimented on, and now he has like psychic powers, like violent psychic powers. So it's kind of like you're playing as Tetsuo from Akira a little bit. You can set people on fire and shit. It's pretty cool. It's just not the best Resident Evil style, survival horror game out there. It is a little clunky and a little boring at times too. Like there's stretches where like nothing happens, but it's cool. I mean, I like it. And it was popular enough that it got a sequel and a movie. Oh God, what was this one? I don't remember. Is this another one of those 4-player ones? Yeah, multiplayer, 4 players. Here we have Gekido, which I think was running off of that Thrill Kill engine that we were talking about last week. And it's a up to 4-player fighting game. It looks really rad, but if I remember correctly, when I picked this up at that CD, I don't remember the name of it. It was like CD Recyclery or whatever the fuck it was. I remember when I brought it home and I played it, I was just kind of like, all right. So I never really put any time into it. And I don't own the multi-tap for the PS4. I do have one. I have 2 of them for the PS2, but not any of them for the PS1, which maybe I should look into that. Whew, and we have a sequel from a 3DO game, or a sequel of a 3DO game, which is awesome. We have Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. Gex started on the 3DO, and then he got moved over to the PS1. I don't even remember what part 2 was called. I really don't. I probably should look that up. But this is a 3D platformer. Gex is like basically parodying Bond movies and stuff in this. And who's the girl in this? I don't know if she was like an ex-porn star or something. No, Baywatch. Baywatch's Marlise Andrada stars as the beautiful agent Extra. Extra. Spoofing buxom spy babes of the past. Sure. Whatever. I haven't put a whole lot of time into this one because I think I want to find the second game before I do so, but I love Gex. Sure, he's okay in 3D, maybe. You ever come across one of those black PS1 console developer kits? No, never seen one of those in my life. I'm pretty sure Radical Reggie has one, though. Ooh. Next up, we're talking about this earlier in the chat. Who was that? Oh, J-Chip was talking about this. We got Ghost in the Shell. So I had this one back in the day, and I absolutely loved it. I was a big fan of the movie Ghost in the Shell. Not the second one all that much, but the first one just like cyberpunk-tastic. I absolutely loved everything about it. It was fantastic. So naturally, I wanted the video game. And this is more based off of the TV show. Was it like Standalone Complex or whatever it was? It has like exclusive anime cutscenes with the characters and the actual voice cast from the American cast from the movie. But the weird thing is, you don't play as Kusanagi. You're playing as, what were those things called? The Fuchikoma, the little spider tank thing that was always talking to her and stuff in the series. And that's what you play as. But it is a fantastic 3D, platformer shooter, I guess. Just a generic action game, I guess. Because you stick to the walls. You're like a spider, really. And like you can go through tunnels and you can just slide along the tunnels and just do all these loop-de-loops and shit. And it's really, really cool and fun. And the camera is fantastic. It's super fun. The music is amazing. And those cutscenes are just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It is fantastic. Like when I first got it, when it came out, it wasn't really what I wanted it to be because I wanted to play as I just said her fucking name too. God damn it. Kusanagi. I wanted to play as Kusanagi so bad. And then I'm like, why am I playing as that stupid little tank thing? Didn't bother me because once I started playing it, I was like, yes. They should have kept Gex 2D like on. Yeah, I agree too, Red Sea. As much as I thought, everyone wanted to do 3D because of technology. Certain ones like even though everyone was trying to make 3D games at the time the PlayStation came out, they still made what's it called, Rayman in 2D, and it was great. I mean, at the same time, what was it? Shit. The game for the Saturn. God damn it! To blow my make me. Yeah, I can't talk. Shit. Ask the stall. Like you had a stall on the Saturn, and that worked great. So I don't see why certain games couldn't stay that way because I thought it was great. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so I picked this up for $1, one whole dollar at the Half Price Books warehouse sale that I was talking about last week or the week before or whatever. Gran Turismo. So I'm not a big fan of this series, although I do have a couple of games in the franchise. It's not an arcadey racing game. I like racing games when they're arcadey. This one is more of a simulation. It's like you're driving like a Honda Civic or something like that at the beginning. You're driving like some generic little car, and it's all about winning these races, getting more money, getting upgrading your car, and then eventually like getting a completely different car. And eventually you're going to get like a cool sports car because of the money you're winning. But yeah, it's not my thing. I like playing the arcadey ones, which are kind of a little ridiculous, stuff like Burnout and stuff like that. Though I don't know if it's in this one. It might be part 2, which I don't have. The soundtrack is fantastic. If I remember, I don't know if it, like I said, I don't remember if it is this one or not that has the licensed. I think it would say so on the back if it did. Like a licensed soundtrack. I think it's the second one. One of the industrial bands that I was listening to at the time, like that nobody really knew of, was called Cubinate. And they had like 2 songs that I really liked. I think it was on part 2's soundtrack. And I remember I bought part 2 when I found out that Cubinate was on the soundtrack. And I loved playing stages when their 2 songs were playing. It was fantastic. But that game series is not my bag. I'm not huge into the semi stuff. Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming gave me this because I just offhand mentioned that I really wanted to play this game, and I wasn't going to play any of the other ones in the series, which I already owned, until I found the first one, and it was kind of expensive. And then like 3 or 4 days later, this shows up on my porch, and he just gave me a copy of Grandia for shits and giggles. So sure, maybe I'll play this year also. Another RPG, but because I don't have the time for RPGs, or at least I wasn't putting aside the time for RPGs, I never really sat down to play it. I hear this franchise is absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't know. But I do have all the games in the franchise, except for, what is it, the remake of this one that came out for the PS2? What is it, Grandia F or some shit like that? I have Grandia 1, 2, and 3. I have 2 for the Dream. Is that the Dreamcast I think I have it on? Who just burped? I think it's the Dreamcast. And then I have 3 on the PlayStation 2. Anyway, it looks cool. The pictures on the back look rad as hell. I need to actually play this one. That is your number 1. I know that Retro Rivals made you that painting, didn't they? Please play that one. I'll do it just for you, Mundane. And now we get into some of those Japanese games, just like I was talking about last week with those Beatmanias. Konami was doing all these rhythm-style games, and I showed off the peripherals that I have for this game, but we have the Guitar Freaks. This is pre-Guitar Hero, pre-Rock Band. A long time ago. We're talking late 90s. And you can see the guitar peripheral that you got right there. That's the one that I own, and then I have a knockoff one that has 5 buttons on it instead of the 3 that the official one has. I don't understand that at all. Anyway, but it's just like playing Rock Band. You have like the notes going up the screen. You have to hold down the button that corresponds to the color of the note and then strum the guitar in order to set off the note. Nothing complicated, but like just unlike Beatmania, which is all about like club tracks and techno, and there's some rock stuff on there too, but like it's mostly like electronic-y stuff. This one is all about rock music and metal. And the songs are all made specifically for this game. So there is that. And it's really fun. They had a Guitar Freaks cabinet at that GameWorks where I was always playing Beatmania 3rd Mix. And if I would get tired of playing Beatmania, I'd always head upstairs to the top level of the arcade, and that's where they had the Guitar Hero or the Guitar Freak machine, and I would always play that instead. But just like Beatmania, those append add-on discs, there was Guitar. I can't talk, man. My mouth is just not doing what my brain wants it to tonight. Guitar Freaks second mix or append second mix, which is just more songs to add to the game. But you do have to have the core game, just like with Beatmania itself, in order to play any of these add-ons. So there's that. But I don't think Guitar Freaks went any further past second mix. I think Beatmania was the one that really took off, and Guitar Freaks kind of didn't, at least on the home consoles. So I don't think there is a third mix. Should look into that. So I picked this one up at that CD. I remember the CD recycler or what the hell that place was called. I cannot remember. And I still have not played it, but it's called Heart of Darkness. And it looks like one of those cinematic platformers, like Flashback or Out of This World or Prince of Persia or whatever. So make of that as you will. Or Oddworld. Oddworld's another good one like that. But I remember I bought this dirt cheap, and I've never actually... I might have put it in just to see if the game loaded and booted, but outside of that, I have not played it. It's the bane of the collector, man. Never have enough time to play everything. This one I'm pissed off about. Really pissed off because I bought this game years ago, and then I got this in my backlog roulette for the Super Enabler Brothers podcast, and I went to go and play it, and the first disc doesn't work. It's 2 discs. And you need to have the first disc in order to play second disc. So I was kind of pissed. So I just have to find somewhere I can get the first disc by itself so I can swap it out. But this is called the Hive. And if you look, if you're from, like, wow, I can't talk. Oh my God. If you were going to the video store all the time in the 90s, the name of the company that released this would probably strike a chord. Trimark was a company that was doing nothing but direct-to-video schlock movies back in the 90s. Like, I can't remember anything, but they decided at one point they were going to start making theatrical films, and they did Leprechaun. And then they did one of the Warlock. They did the second Warlock movie. What was it? Philadelphia Experiment 2. They released like a handful. Wishmaster, I think, was one of them. And then they decided at one point they were going to get into the video game business, and they released this on the PC. This was originally a PC game. And then I remember I was working at my video store, that mom and pop store that I worked at in the mid 90s. Sorry, my brain tonight. I was working there in the mid 90s, and I got the list of games that were coming out for whatever month it was. And I was looking through it, and I saw this, and I was like, when were they going to do a port of the Hive? I had no idea that was happening. So I convinced my boss to buy a copy of it, and it rented pretty well, surprisingly. And it's another one of those like cinematic shooters where you have like a movie playing in the background, and then bad guys come out of the background, and you have to like shoot them with a reticle kind of thing. It's like that. But it's actually pretty well done. Or at least I remember it being pretty well done because I played it when we got it at the store. I'm just pissed that I can't actually play this now. So I need, at one point I was like actively searching for the first disc, and now I need to maybe I'll do that tonight. This one now is Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. When I went back to that Kmart for like 3 months when I was in between jobs, I remember I wanted to buy this because a friend of mine had bought a copy of this and brought it over to my house, and we played it for like 45 minutes to an hour, and it was all it took for me to be like, I want this freaking game. And then because I wasn't working that many hours at that Kmart, buying this that day of that we got our paycheck was basically my entire paycheck. I got like $50 that week from Kmart because I put in so many hours that week. I think it was just because it was after Christmas. But it's a arcadey racing game, but you also get to do a lot of stunts and stuff like that. So like you'll hit a jump, and then if you hit like forward, your car will start looping forward, and you can make them spin sideways or diagonal or whatever. It's actually pretty fun, and it has a really cool licensed soundtrack. I remember Fuel by Metallica is in here. And I remember really enjoying it. That's the only song by post Black Album Metallica that I actually can listen to and not want to like rip my ears off. But it's actually a pretty fun arcade racing game. I recommend it. Only Hot Wheels game I currently own. When I first got your PlayStation in 97, you were scared to death to open the lid and switch discs while it was on and leave. Switch your light with damage. No, that's not how it worked. I had games there where it was like the Beatmania and the Guitar Freaks games. You had to load up the base game and then take the disc out and put one of the add-ons in. This one I talked about in my Diamonds in the Rough for the PS1. I was talking about this also last week because of that Dracula, the Sanctuary, or the Last Sanctuary, or whatever it was called. Yeah, Dracula, the Last Sanctuary. This company that released this game also. It's called In Cold Blood. And this is another one of those tank control Resident Evil style survival horror games, but this one is like a spy thriller. And it's really kind of cool. Start off with this, you're playing as a secret agent, you have to infiltrate this installation that's being run by terrorists, and you have to kind of like blend in. And it's kind of cool the way you have to sneak in. It's like a lot of puzzle solving kind of things too. And it's really, really fun. And it's very long. It's 2 discs. And I want to say this game itself is like 15 hours long or something. It is like beyond, it blew past my expectations of what a game like this should be. I was like, I did not expect this to take up like 3 weeks of my life kind of thing. You know, I expected it to be like Resident Evil and I play through it in 3 days. But it's actually really cool. And it looks like a budget title, but it is not. It is very well made, very well executed. I really like it. How was it on the PS4 is fun? I had this one back in the day, but sold it when I got rid of everything in 2011 when I lost my job. But I found another copy of it at that, Video Games Then and Now, my new retro store out here. And I'm glad that I have it back. It's Incredible Crisis. This is nothing but a bunch of mini games, very Japanese mini games. It's like you start off and you go to work and you have to do jumping jacks when you get to work, and that's one of the mini games. And then you're building, it's falling down or something like that. And you have to like jump off the building and all that. You can kind of see it on the back here. It's just a bunch of, it's like playing like a WarioWare game or something like that, but it's just very Japanese and it's all about like working in Japan. 24 mini games, music by Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. One of the funniest things you'll ever put in your PlayStation, says antagonist.com from AOL. It's very strange. But it's fun. I remember liking it a lot. It's just kind of some of the things you have to do in that game. I was just like, I don't understand what you're asking of me. Like, you're making my brain melt. Here's another Marvel licensed game. Had to get it because, sure. The Incredible Hulk, the Pantheon Saga. I've heard some people say this is kind of cool, and other people say that this is poop. I think Corpse Flood, Jason, said that this was actually kind of fun. He played it for, I think, one of his backlog roulette games. But I found this, I think, at Half Price Books, and it was dirt cheap, which is why I bought it. And it's like a 3D platformer when you're playing as the Hulk, and it's got some beat-em-up aspects to it. It does not look that great. The sprite of the Hulk in that picture up there reminds me of what he looks like in the Genesis game. It looks the same. But whatever. Had to have it because why not? And then this one. Oh, you guys, I got to take a drink to talk about this one. Oh. Best licensed game ever. Not. Independence 4. ID4. So I almost fell for this. I almost bought a copy of this back in the day. Almost. Luckily, I was working at that video store, and I talked to my boss into buying a copy of it. And I was like, dude, that movie is like the hottest renting movie we have. Get a copy of the game. It's guaranteed to rent. And it did. It sure as hell did. So one night I brought it home because I was really considering just going out and blind buying it. And I brought it home and I was like, oh no. It is basically like a flight simulator type game. It's like playing Afterburner if there were aliens out there instead of other airplanes you need to shoot down. And it controls like shit. You're playing as Will Smith's character, and you're just going around. You have like objectives you have to do. You have like sometimes you have to save a building from being destroyed. Other times it's just destroy as many ships as you possibly can. You might have a certain amount you need to destroy, and then you got to take out one of the mothership kind of things. It controls like poop, man. It really does. The plane, like you turn, it's like the plane just like turns on a dime. Planes don't do that. You need to slowly do your little turn. No, it's like boop. It sucks. It is so bad. The movie's fun though, I guess, in a cheesy kind of way, but the game itself, not so much. So I was talking about it in other streams. I think it was mostly in the Saturn. A coworker of mine was going through her closet and found a bunch of stuff that belonged to her ex-husband. So, and a lot of it was video game related, and she didn't want it in the house, so she knew that I was collecting, so she just gave me this box of his stuff. There was a PSP in there, some PSP movies, a bunch of Saturn games. There was a bunch of PlayStation 2 stuff in there, and this. And she gave me a copy of Inuyasha, A Feudal Fairy Tale. I don't know what the hell Inuyasha is. I know it's an anime, but I don't know anything about the anime and what it's all about. But from the back, it looks like a one-on-one fighting game. So, yay for free video games. Isn't Inu cat in Japanese? I think Inu is cat. What does Yasha mean? But yeah, whatever. So I picked this one up, I think it's not last year anymore. Now it's 2021 when I went game hunting with Rocket Sauce in Wisconsin. I got this at Freak Toys, and it's another one that I bought because it's Dragon Ball Z for girls. Okay, that's funny. I do think Inu means cat. It's another one that I bought because of the developer. The developer I know, I think it was that Bug Riders game that I was talking about last week. GT Interactive Software, the people that made Critical Depth, one of my all-time favorite vehicular combat games. I saw this at the store and I said, oh, they released this too. I must have it. It is called Invasion from Beyond. And I absolutely love that poster art. That is 1950s-tastic. Love it. I wish I had a poster of that. And from what it looks like, it's kind of like a Wing Commander-esque game where you're just trying to take out aliens that are invading. It's like a better version of that Independence Day game I was just talking about. But that game looks absolutely fantastic. Sadly, I have not played it yet. It just happens. I haven't even put this in my PlayStation 2 to see if it works. I should probably do that tonight. But I have work to do. I got an RPG to run tomorrow. So, yeah, absolutely thrilled to have found a copy of that. I really need a drink. I'm like slowly slipping. I might just take tomorrow off. I'm so freaking exhausted. I haven't been sleeping either. Irritating Stick. I remember hearing about this back in the day. Never actually owned it. Then one day I was putzing around on Twitch, and Pete Dorr, who was one of the original YouTubers I was watching back in 2013 that convinced me to get back into collecting again, he streams on Twitch like exclusively now. And he was streaming this. And I was watching him do it. I was like, that's odd, especially like for a video game. Like, I don't understand how that could be fun. And then I saw this at Video Games Then and Now, and it was not expensive. I think this was like $25. And I was like, you know what? I'll take a chance on it. And it's actually pretty fun. So basically, it's like playing Operation, but in long form. So you have like this track. You can kind of see it, especially in this picture right here. This track that goes like this. It's these silver bars, and they are electrified. And you control a stick that has to travel in between them, and you have to use the thumbstick to move it. If you touch the bar, you get electrocuted and you have to start over. So it's basically like moving through this maze and not touching that bar. Then eventually they start throwing obstacles at you and all this kind of crazy stuff. And it is actually really fun, and it gets kind of addictive. So I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. I did not think it was going to be anything wild or fun, but it's kind of cool. It's a really cool idea. I think this came out like toward the end of the PlayStation's lifespan too. So like at that point in time, like people were just going for broke and creating creative stuff. Grandia will not run on the PS2. It will crash. Oh. Will it play on my PlayStation 3 though? This game pisses me off. Pisses me off. It might have been because I was playing it on my PS3 that it was fucked up. But we got Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. I had wanted this for years, for decades. Never had it back in the day. And found this at the Midwest Gaming Classic, I think in 2018. And never really sat down to play it. But then I got it as one of my backlog roulette games. It was like one of the first ones I got when we started the podcast. Excuse me, just burped again. And I got this close to beating it. But I think it had something to do with not playing this on a PS1. I was playing it on my PS3 with a wireless controller. And the controls just felt off. Like there was a bit of lag. And it was always getting me killed. And other people that I was talking to that have been playing this game say, no, the controls in this game were actually kind of fantastic. I'm like, not the one I'm playing. Like it might have something to do with the PlayStation 3. But like I was just getting, like I got to the last stage and I would always end up dying because my timing was always off on things when I was breezing through other levels with the exact same type of obstacles in it. It just, I don't get it. And it just frustrated me to the point where I just gave up and I was like, you know what, I'm not playing this freaking game anymore. So it is kind of cool. Jackie Chan voices himself. You play as like this weird cartoony version of Jackie Chan. You can see him right there. You talk about his grandfather. And like his grandfather gets kidnapped and he has to go after him. And it involves like a Chinese restaurant and stuff like that. And it's basically him going through all these obstacle course style stages. And there's like villains every once in a while and you can do martial arty stuff. There's usually some sort of a weapon laying around that you can pick up and use like a stick or a mop or anything like that. There's sometimes a bucket. You can just kick the bucket at him and stuff. It's fun, but frustrating as all hell. At least if you're playing it on a PS3 like I did. Like I got mad. This one, I was talking about the first game when I was in the first video. I was talking about this with all the long boxes. I have the long box version of the first game, but here we have Jumping Flash 2. I had never seen this one in person when I got back into collecting until like a year ago. I went to the exchange by me and it was just sitting there in the case. And I was like, I don't care what you're asking for it. I think it was like $40. Like, I don't care what you're asking for it. Just give it to me. First person rabbit jumping simulator, I guess is what you would call it. You're inside a giant mech that looks like a rabbit and it's in the first person and it's like a platformer. And it's kind of rad. I absolutely love these games. Really unique and creative and fun and silly. So absolutely thrilled that I was able to find a copy of that. And then I was talking about the third game in the series last week. Here's the second game. This one's my favorite in the series. That is Kagero Deception 2, which is the sequel to Tecmo's Deception. And the follow-up is Deception 3 Dark Descent, I think. Dark Delusion. Dark Delusion. Like, I think it was Mondane that said last week, like, Tecmo has a problem naming things. But anyway, awesome game. I absolutely love this. I rented this one from this video store that was like a little ways away from my house, but they had a huge selection of stuff to rent. And I picked this one up because I was excited about it, but I didn't know if I wanted to buy it. And I went out and bought a copy the day after. It's fantastic. You play as the bad guy. People are trying to break into your castle, and you're setting traps all over the place to kill them. And with each kill, you gain like experience points that you can spend on bigger and better traps. Because eventually more people are going to come. They're harder to kill. You know, they've got weapons and stuff. And it's like you have to create like sometimes like a chain of traps, one after another, that link to each other in order to like kill these people that have high hit points. And it is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorite games of all time. So it was a cool idea, and it's pulled off great in that one. I have not played the third one to see if it's any better, but part 2 is where it's at. And then we got this one from Software. They had to start somewhere, right? Kingsfield 2. The first Kingsfield is on PlayStation also. It's in a long box, and it's very expensive. Especially when I think, like, it wasn't Dark Souls 3. I think it was when Bloodborne came out, and it got out that, like, the Kingsfield games were, like, early versions of Dark Souls. And, like, all of a sudden, like, the price for the PlayStation 1 version went up like you would not believe. And I found this at Video Games Then and Now, and I was super thrilled that I did. It was not super expensive. Like I said, that guy, I don't think knows what eBay is. He just prices what he thinks games are worth, and he's just trying to move product. So it's a first-person, like, action RPG, I guess. So you're, like, basically see, like, your hands out in the front of you with an axe and stuff like that, and it's like an RPG. And it's kind of a cool idea, if you ask me. I have not actually sat down and played this. I want to play the first one first. So I've got the second one waiting for me when I do. Have you found that majority of disc-based games have been taken care of, or they're mostly scratched out? I think I've gotten lucky with the stores that I go to because a lot of them have those resurfacing machines, and if they find one that is all jacked up, they fix it, and then they test it to make sure that they didn't screw it up. So I've rarely ever had a problem. The only time I have problems with like disc-based games is if I go to a convention, because those people are just basically selling stuff that they found at garage sales and stuff and didn't clean any of them up. But outside of that, usually if I buy from a store, I'm usually set. Your favorite trap combo was the oil from the top, a wall push off the stairs, and then a floor spring into the fireplace. Yep. There was some environmental ones in there that were pretty fun. Kind of like reminds me of Friday the 13th, the multiplayer game. Here's a cool one. I found this at Video Games Then and Now also, and I've been looking for it for a while. I had this on my Amazon wish list for like years, and it was just too expensive. And then I find this for like $15 at Video Games Then and Now. So I was like, give it to me now. That's our Konami. Wow. Can't my mouth. Konami Arcade Classics. So it's just a series of arcade ports that are like arcade perfect because these are from the 80s. So it's not hard to emulate them. It has Puyan, Circus Charlie, Shaolin's Road. I'm not familiar with that one. Rock and Rope. Not familiar with that one. Ye Are Kung Fu. I remember that one. Played that one a lot. Scramble. I even have that for the Vectrex over here. Road Fighter, Super Cobra, which I do have for the Atari 2600. Gyrus, which I loved on the Atari. And Time Pilot, which I think is available on the Atari also. Pretty cool retro arcade games. It's a pretty decent compilation. Can't complain. I need to play me some ER Kung Fu and see if it's as bad as everyone tells me it is nowadays. Early one-on-one fighting game like Karate Champ. And everyone tells me how that is a hard one to find. It is? I got lucky. Everyone tells me this game is absolutely awful. I remember my weekly... I used to buy so many games every week that I would take like a weekly picture of the games I was adding to my collection at like on a Sunday of every week. I don't do it every week now because I don't buy them as much as I used to. But I remember the week that I took the picture with this one and it, Radical Reggie was like, "Why did you buy that? That game is awful." And I was like, because it was like $1.50. Largo Winch, Commando SAR. I think that's some military thing. But it's like a third-person action espionage game, I guess. And from what I understand, it is kind of awful. But I don't know. I still have not played it yet. Because everybody that was telling me that this game is putrid was like, they scared me off of it. So I basically just like put it on my shelf and let it sit there. But I do believe, since we were talking about it, yeah, this one is a little bit scratched. I remember I saw it, and I was just like, yeah, it's a little scratched. Should I? Nah, I'll do it. But I still have not played it, so. This is, okay, so this one I've decided to add officially to the list of RPGs that I'm playing this year. So now the list is going to be Phantasy Star, followed by Final Fantasy VII Remake, followed by Ys 8, and then Legend of Dragoon. So I've always wanted to play this one. I never had it back in the day. I always wanted it, but I never picked up a copy. And then Jason, those yellow stickers are awful. Yeah, that's from, I guess the person who sold this to Half Price Books got this from the old EB Games, because that's one of the old EB Games labels. I'm just going to replace the jewel case because this is cracked as shit too. Jason from Corpse Blood Gaming got this as one of his. We were doing two at one point. I think it was like in our 4th or 5th episode. We decided to do 2 different backlog roulettes. A standard backlog roulette where the game is like less than 10 hours long, and it was like from the previous generation that we're currently on and back. So right now it'd be PS4 and everything before that, as long as it's less than a 10-hour game. And then we decided to do an RPG one because that was when I said, hey, it's 2020. Let's do I'm going to do my RPG or Year of the RPG. So the first one that I got was Kingdom Hearts, and that was what ended my Year of the RPG because I absolutely hated that game, and I didn't want to play an RPG at all after that. I was just like, no. So Jason got this for his first RPG backlog roulette, and he played through it like in a week. And he's like, that game is absolutely fantastic. He's like, I'm on the train now, or I want a sequel like everyone's been asking for years. So this is definitely going to be one of the RPGs I play this year. I absolutely need to. It looks fantastic. I've always wanted to play it, and I hear nothing but good things. So I want to play the sure things, the ones that I know I'm going to enjoy. And I was talking about one of the other games in this series during the long box video. And that game was terrible. This is the traditional version of this game plus its sequel, and that is Lemmings and Oh No More Lemmings, another Psygnosis joint. 2 games in one. This is the original Lemmings game and the sequel, Oh No More Lemmings, which originally was only available on the PC or whatever. My throat is going dry again. If you played one Lemmings game, you've played them all, except don't play 3D Lemmings. It's awful. It's just like a puzzle game where you tell all these different lemmings what to do. Like you give them tasks. Like one can like dig a hole so the other ones don't have to like keep walking into a wall. You can get ones that are going to fall off of a cliff to like pull out an umbrella so they drift down safely and stuff like that. It's okay. Like for me, I can play it for maybe an hour and then I'm like good for a while. Like I don't have to play this for months. So having this in my collection was basically because Psygnosis, but also because of Psygnosis is why I have like 35 different versions of Lemmings in my collection. Picked this one up at Video Games Then and Now. They had this in their expensive case, and it was not expensive. I don't know why it was there. Probably because of the cover. And I was like, licensed game, must have it. And this game's not good. Not good at all. I played this one back in the day. Didn't like it, but I wanted it because licensed games. And that is The Lost World Jurassic Park. And the cool thing about the cover is it's lenticular, so you can see the claw moving around the logo there. And this one is all about you playing as the dinosaurs. You play as a T-Rex, 5 different characters, including a T-Rex, a raptor, and a compy. I remember playing as the compy. That thing sucked. Which new Final Fantasy games have come with a true turn-based mode. Oh, now they're all like kind of like 3D beat-em-ups. That's still a cool idea, though. I like that. But yeah, it would be kind of cool if they were to go back to what they used to be. But yeah, this game is not good. It's like a 3D platformer beat 'em up, I guess, and it's not fun. It looks good. Don't get me wrong; it does look extremely cool, and the music is from the movie. But the platforming and everything about it is just god awful. It's another one of those just thrown together licensed games to meet a deadline. Picked this one up when I was out with Tiger Chainsaw and Captain Algebra and its Rocket Sauce back in August, I think. So they had this at one of the stores we went to. It might have been Press Start, but it's called Machine Head. And it's like a first-person tank game. You're like in the tank, but you're like your tank has like guns mounted on each side, and you can see them in each shot. And it's just going around shooting things. It looked kind of fun. So kind of like a mindless little game, so I picked it up. But then again, it's from Core, and Core was extremely hit or miss with me back in the day. This is another game that I found at Half Price Books, and this was like, I shit you not, like $2.50. And it ended up being fantastic. It's another game I put on my Diamonds in the Rough for the PlayStation 1 in that video that I made a few years back. It's another Resident Evil style survival horror game. The cool twist of Martian Gothic unification is that you swap between these 3 different characters on the fly. So you start off, the other thing that is really cool is the opening cinematic. I'm not spoiling anything here because the first thing you hear is you see that there's 3 characters here, but they say that only 2 of them made it back from the ordeal that they were in. And you don't know which one it is, which one died. So you have this kind of like weird sense of like it's stressful knowing that one of these people is going to die. Which one is it going to be? Maybe I can stop it from happening. No, you can't because it's part of the story. So like you start off playing as one of the characters and he goes into this installation on Mars. Like they've crash landed. These characters have crash landed on Mars. And there's like this building that they find, this installation. And the first person goes in but realizes he can't get past this door because it's locked. So you switch over to the other character who's at a different part of the installation. They're able to unlock the door from where they're at. So then you go back to that other person, you walk in, and you're stuck again. It turns out the third person who's in a different part of the installation, see what I'm talking about? It's like this cooperation thing. It's kind of like, what is it, Resident Evil 0 or something like that? kind of the way that worked. But the other thing that I think is amazing about this is it has some of the absolute worst voice acting. Like, I used part of a clip of it in the video that I did about this game, and then, like, what was it? Like, there's these zombie things running around the installation, and they're what is it? They don't have telekinesis. They're telepathic. You can hear them. And he goes, "I hear this thing talking to me in my mind." It is the funniest way he delivers the line. It just cracks me up. It is very cool. I love that game a lot. That is a great game. Ever had a PlayStation memory card lose files? No. Well, for MTV Music Generator, each memory card could only hold one song. If you try to put another song on a memory card that already had a song on it that you were working on, it would erase both because it couldn't handle that much memory. So I used to have this big container full of memory cards, and each memory card had a song on it, kind of thing. Gitch kept you from beating it? That sucks. And welcome, Jamie. How's it going? Yeah, I absolutely loved it. That was one of the games I never knew anything about. Picked it up randomly because it was dirt cheap at half-price books, and surprisingly enjoyed the hell out of it, enough to talk about it in a video. Next up, we have a classic first-person shooter. We have Medal of Honor. This was by DreamWorks. Steven the Spielberg had something to do with this. One of those World War II, like, this got the whole World War II first-person shooter kicked off right here. It's fantastic. I absolutely love this game. I played the shit out of it. This was like when, like, I was playing Doom and Blood and Quake and Duke Nukem on my dad's PC. So I was really familiar with first-person shooters. The first few, other than the Doom that came out for the PlayStation, were the first few that, like, Disruptor and all them, they had some clunky things going on. Like, Alien Trilogy kind of had some clunky stuff. This was the first one where it felt like good. Like, really good on the PlayStation, other than Doom. So I played through this one like you would not believe. I absolutely loved every second of it. And sure enough, when the sequel came out, Medal of Honor Underground, I ran out and bought it on day one. Beat the shit out of this one too. More of the same. It's just now I think it was the French Revolution, or the French side of the war. You're playing as like a French assassin, which is pretty awesome. I love this one too. Do not play the Game Boy Advance version of this. It is not good. Was in the rotation of the LAN parties back in the day. I never played this multiplayer. That's one of my few regrets. But I absolutely love those games. I was like on board with any like PlayStation first-person shooter after those because those did it so well. And then we have Mega Man 8 Anniversary Edition. I would rather have this for the Saturn because of the side-scrolling nature of it and the animation, but it's cheaper on the PlayStation for some reason. I only paid like $20 for this back when I first got it back into collecting. I think I got lucky with it too. But yeah, this is like a traditional Mega Man game, but for the new console. It's got some animated cutscenes where Mega Man sounds horrible, but it's a fun Mega Man game. Like, I haven't played a Mega Man game that I can say that I totally hated, so I was thrilled to get that. But I was even more thrilled to find these at the same time at the exchange down the street. So the weekend that the People Play Games, like I brought this up plenty of times before, People Play Games closed down, but the only reason they closed down was because the guy that owned the building said that he was going to turn the building into like condos or something. So People Play Games closed down, but they left all of their inventory in the store because they were waiting for the word from the owner of the building that he was going to start tearing it down in order to make the condos or whatever. It never happened. So I don't think it still hasn't happened yet. So that stuff their inventory sat in the store for a year untouched. So one weekend they got permission to just open up for 1 weekend to try to sell the rest of their stock. And I went there and I lost my mind a little bit, fought people over Atari 2600 games and stuff, because there's a big box of them on the floor and everyone was like digging through. And I was like, can I see? Get out of my way, bitch, kind of thing. So didn't buy as much stuff as I thought I was because I brought a lot of money with me because I was expecting to like lose my mind. I did, but everything was so cheap that I did not blow all my money. So I was like, you know what? I passed up an exchange on the way home from this place. I'll stop in there and see if they have anything. And they had both of these. Cheap. Mega Man Legends 1 and 2. I have never played one of these games. They are like Mega Man RPGs or action RPGs or whatever, but they're in 3D. And it's like open world kind of. And people are still asking for a third game in the series. Because sure, waves and games. Yeah, the People Play Games store, yep. So I remember hearing about these games nonstop from people saying that they're absolutely fantastic. Oh, I mean, at first I was opposed to them putting Mega Man in a 3D kind of like this, and then I played it, and I was like, oh my god, Bona! And I hear nothing but good things, and it even got a port to the Nintendo 64. Why anyone would want to play this on the Nintendo 64, I don't know. But I'm thrilled that I was able to find them both and not expensive. It did not break the bank. And I need to sit down and play through these because they look awesome. And they even got a spin-off called like The Adventures of Tron Bon or whatever it is. And then you got Mega Man Legends 2, which is more of the same. It looks pretty cool. Looks unique. I wanted to play these. Definitely. I probably won't play them this year. But I hear nothing but good things, like I said. And then I downloaded because I'm never going to be able to afford a copy of The Adventures of Tron Bon because that is like prohibitively expensive. When the PlayStation 3, everyone was freaking out about the PS3 store shutting down. I went to the PS3 store and like downloaded the digital copy of the game so I would at least have it to play. So there's that. Oh, look, y'all getting along. Oh. Sadly, Peter, I only have 2 more games to talk about. This game. Men in Black, the series, Crashdown. Is this the first-person shooter? Yeah, this is a first-person shooter from Men in Black. It is not good. The only reason I bought it was because it was there and it was cheap. And it's a first-person shooter, so why not? It's okay, Peter. I don't hate you. And then we're gonna go out on a bang, everybody, because this is one of the best games on this damn console, bar none. Metal Gear Solid. I mean, come on. I have not gotten into a game, or at least at this point in time when this came out, I've never gotten into a game as heavily as I got into this, except for maybe ActRaiser. Freaking train. I lost my damn mind over this game. So I had played Metal Gear on the Nintendo, and I did not like it because I was under the assumption that it was an action game, and it turned out to be a stealth game, and I didn't want to play a stealth game. I wanted to kill people in video games because that's what video games are about, killing people. I didn't want to have to sneak around people. I thought that was boring. Naturally, like 10 years down the line, when this came out, I was ready for what that game had to offer, but I didn't want to go back and play that. I wanted to try this one out. And man, this game took over my life, and it did really cool things with the console, like the whole Psycho Mantis fight with the, switching the ports on your, with your controller or whatever, and reading your memory cards and all that kind of shit. It was nuts. And it just blew my mind a little bit that this game was doing this kind of stuff. And it was cool on top of that. The story was great. Like, Solid Snake is a great character. I loved all the characters, even though they had stupid-ass names. Vulcan Raven, Giant and Shaman. What? But it's fantastic. I wanted to beat this so bad. Like, I ended up playing through it, I want to say in like 4 or 5 days. But man, I made that shit count. I remember I called out of work one day because I was like, I'm going to beat this game today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm beating this game today. And it took me a while because for some reason I was doing something wrong during the last boss fight when you're on that Jeep trying to escape the compound that's exploding or whatever it was. And I kept doing something wrong and I kept dying. And then finally I figured out what I was doing wrong. I'm like, there you go. I need to play through it again. But if I play through this again, it's going to be on the Twin Snakes version that's on the GameCube, which I own. Spoiler alert. Absolutely love the game. The ambiance, like the way the gameplay works, like the characters, everything about it is just top notch. Like, Kojima was onto something back then. I do have that PlayStation 3 compilation that has all of the original MSX versions of the first 2 Metal Gear games, and I probably should go back and play those before I play through that. So I can play. Maybe I should play through them all in order. Should probably do that. The radio channel on the case, yep, that's the only place you know where to look for it is if you look on the case where it says Merrill 140.15. Yup. It's like they're actually saying, like, Merrill? Like, you want to talk to Merrill, you got to go there. Clever shit, man. Clever shit. You see, I like Castlevania. Oh, wait till you see my picture from this pickups this weekend. Woo! Yep. So that's it for today. That is one entire shelf of my PlayStation 1 collection. A lot of the thicker ones in this video. The other ones don't have nearly as many because we had like the Final Fantasies and all that shit. So yeah, they took up more space. So next week will probably be a longer video because there's a lot of single case ones. But it was a big fourth wall breaking game. Yeah, it's weird. Then the second one I didn't like when I first played it. I'm like, why am I not playing as Metal or as Solid Snake? Why am I playing as this poser with white hair? What the hell is this crap? But I kept pushing through it. Eventually, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. I like it. I like it a lot. It's cool. And then Solid Snake pops up at one point as that bum or whatever it is. It's like, you know, cigarette or whatever it is, and offers some advice. Oh, that series is weird. I need to play through 3 and 4. I've never played through 3 or 4 or 5. Just haven't. Should probably do that. Not this year, though. Anyway, so thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight and chit-chatting with me, talking about all these games, even through all my tired bullshit, my mouth not wanting to work right. So I will see you all next week for part 4 of 5 in the Sony PlayStation Video Game Collection 2023 live streams. And I'll also be back tomorrow with a new short. I need to shoot it actually tonight. Oh, great. How am I going to do a short when I can barely form a sentence right now? Shit. Got to spam those emojis. You're paying for me. Might as well use them. And then also tomorrow night is episode 2 of my Dungeons & Dragons campaign over on my Twitch channel. The Old Ass Retro Gamer, or sorry, twitch.tv/the Old Ass Retro Gamer, all one word. Different 3 players are playing tomorrow night. And then eventually they're going to all come together and it'll be awesome. So tomorrow is episode 2. Come and check that out if you're into that kind of thing. Subscribe to my channel and all that. I hope to see you there. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoy the short I'm going to release tomorrow, and I'll see you all next week. So I will talk to you later. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe out there. Chris, the Old Ass Retro Gamer, out. Have a good night. TV/the Old Ass Retro Gamer.